And we are live on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Harry Mays along with Barrett Brooks today on a Wednesday, July the 7th, brought to you by Fritz and B and Cooley. And got a lot to get into today over the next 2 hours and 10 minutes, Barrett. We're going to talk a lot of football because I know you're chomping at the bit.
No question.
You've been like on a diet. You know, where it's like a no food diet. All you've been allowed to take in is liquids to keep you alive.
Right.
And football is your food. So we're going to allow you to eat today. We're going to let the big dog eat. And we got a couple of great guests coming on your way to help us out with that. We're going to go down to Dallas, first of all, at 11:30 and talk to RJ Choppy, who's been doing radio down in the DFW area, sports radio for a long, long time. And in fact, he's a part of that show that Jerry Jones appears on every week, the Shan and RJ show. Okay. And that's where that famous, will you shut up, was met the world last year during the season. So we're going to have a lot of fun to talk about with RJ and a lot of stuff about the Dallas Cowboys because they are the odds-on favorite to win the NFC East with the return of Dak Prescott. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Jeff Kerr, our buddy from CBS Sports, who's been on this show a few times.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
12 noon. And we'll talk some Eagles and NFC East with him. And then at 12:30, it's going to get really loose because our buddy, the real D Gunn, will join us, Derek Gunn, at 12:30 and take us to the end. But so, Barrett, is that going to be enough for you today?
Oh, no question, man. We need this. I mean, I'm going through withdrawals, man. Yes, I like baseball.
No, we don't. You don't have to say that on this show. Here's the trap. There's a lot of sports people in this business feel that they have to say things,
right?
Because my God, I might lose a listener. Right. If I say that I don't like baseball anymore. You know what? I just tell you the truth, and I know that most people are out on baseball, so I don't even care about saying it anymore. Seriously, how much baseball do you watch?
Philly baseball, I don't watch. I mean, I can't watch it now. I mean, I started out beginning of the season, had high hopes. I mean, at least if we didn't have our pitching woes, I know at least we have offense. I mean, we're supposed to be lighting it up right now. I mean, there's no way we shouldn't be having more runs scored, more people on base, and it's the exact opposite. Everything sucks. So we can't play defense. We can't hit. We can't pitch. Our starters are the manager stinks too. Our ace would be a second or third. Yeah. And I thought he was going to be the savior.
I know, because he was a big name, and we all thought, wow, this is going to add some credibility and some stability to this organization. He's going to whip these younger guys into shape. The veterans will buy in because he came from the Yankees and all this nonsense.
Won a
championship.
Has
been a total disappointment, along with most of the other players in this lineup.
I mean, what is it, though, man? I don't understand what it is. I mean, you have players. You have arguably the best catcher in Real Milto in the league, and he can't do anything.
Right.
Come on now. We have a pretty good outfielder who we're paying, $330 million for?
Right. He had a couple of hits last night. I know they put up some runs in a couple of these last few games, but I mean, seriously, this is just the tease that they will typically do to us around, July, All-Star break time when you're heading towards that trade deadline stuff where it's like, wow, they're making me, are they making me believe that they could be buyers at the deadline instead of sellers and all? We go through the same crap every year. They stink.
They do, man.
They do.
And
the game's unwatchable.
But how do we as Philadelphia fans, we can't turn our back on them, man, and they know this.
Yeah.
So they'll make us take this mediocrity. What if we don't stand it anymore? What if we say, you know what, we're just out on it?
I don't stand it because I don't go. I don't talk about them. I don't watch them. So I am actually doing what everybody else should do. Okay,
and they won't do that, man. Come on, they won't do that.
Look at the stream here. We got Ball 316 telling me that Ohtani is amazing. Yeah, true. What does that do for me?
Right.
Seriously. The last I looked, he plays in Los Angeles. Okay, with the Angels.
Right.
A team that's hardly ever on TV with Mike Trout. Yeah, great. They got two great players. They're not in the playoffs either.
No.
Okay.
No.
So what does that do for me?
They're right outside the playoffs just like we are.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough, man, because we have to talk all sports. That's one thing you taught me when I first got in this, man. Because I was under your tutelage at first when I first got into to radio, and you told me, look, man, don't let them pigeonhole you. Even though the other guy, this guy's trying to tell you, hey, just talk Eagles. Just talk Eagles.
Right.
Nothing else.
Because that's where your line of expertise is in the
I
game of
understand
football.
that,
and we all get that, but you can branch out. You love all sports.
No question.
I'm just saying, don't feel obligated to mention baseball.
I feel it too, I feel it. What's up, Mom? But I do feel it, man. I'm like, come on, man, because I grew up a St. Louis Cardinal fan. Like my pop
baseball heaven.
Oh yeah, no question.
Grew up in baseball heaven.
Man, it was unbelievable, man. In fact, I went to more baseball games. I never went to a pro football team until I went pro.
Is that you never went to see the Cardinals when they were in St. Louis?
I went into the locker room.
Football Cardinals.
Yeah, I went to the Cardinals locker room, and I saw half the game from inside the tunnel because Vasek had brought me in there. Remember, he gave me my first pair of name brand shoes. That was my first time being in a stadium and watching football.
So that was Old Bush Stadium.
Yes, Old Bush Stadium. That was my first time. And the only reason I went is because my uncle used to go, and he just took me with him. And all the kids and all the people, fans be out there, and they want tickets.
Right.
And I wouldn't want tickets. I'm like, I didn't like football growing up. The only reason I played because my mom made me play. Yes, Miss Brooks, Mama Brooks, the one everybody likes. Yeah. She laid the hat down on me. She made me play football because football was hard. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be the next Charles Barkley. But long story long.
But a great job out of Mama Brooks for seeing the light.
Right. So she made me play because I wanted to quit. In fact, I did quit my junior year. I didn't play my whole junior year. And my mom was so disappointed in me. She made me work, man. I had to go work in a farm, in a tomato farm.
Wow.
Worst time of my life.
Oh,
I knew after that I would never. Bro, I had to pick tomatoes.
Oh,
like, you don't understand how hard. And that's hard because you go by how many of those buckets or whatever they are. Bushels. How many bushels you get. And after a while, man, bushels get heavy, heavy. And it's hot.
It's hot.
Sun beating down on you, picking these things. I'm like, yo, I can't do this for a living.
I know.
I'm not that guy. You're just not going to get that out of me, man.
No way.
So like I said, that was the only time I went. I went to baseball games. My pops he was a baseball player. In fact, he could have went pro.
Is that right?
He could have went pro, but he ended up going into the service just before he got the invite. You know what I mean? So he went to the service, went in the Army, served in the Army for 17 years. So, that's what he did. But, man, he was always talking about baseball. He would watch baseball religiously.
Well, yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was great.
Right,
I was a huge baseball fanatic as a kid, and it maintained into my adulthood right up until, probably around 2012 when the Phillies, run ended abruptly, and then they just went, into the abyss. And I've lost touch with the game. The game has changed, and I don't like hardly any of the ways it has changed. And I don't know that I'm ever coming back. I'm serious. I've replaced it. Baseball, you've been replaced. It's like an ex-girlfriend. Nah, I found somebody else. I'm not looking back. Right?
That lipstick just doesn't look as good on you anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it has a lot to do with, them just taking everything out of it, man. The small ball, they don't play small ball anymore. They don't try to go out and get on base, sacrifices and all those type of, they don't do that anymore, man. And with the shift and everything, it just makes it's
awful. They should outlaw that. They could outlaw that. They could make it only a certain amount of players in certain areas, and there's a lot.
Basketball does it.
Yeah, right.
Basketball does it. Football does it.
Because all these other sports evolve with the times.
Exactly. And plus time, even talking about time, it's 3.5 to 4 hours to watch an average basketball game. Yeah. I don't have that much time in my life.
The only thing that was worse than that was the match last night, which lasted, I think, 5.5 hours. And I was in it for a long time until the NBA game started, a little after 9:00. And then I'm flipping back and forth. And they played a round of golf. They didn't even go all 18 holes because Rogers and DeChambeau closed them out, I think, with 3 holes to go or something like that. And it took 5.5 hours. I mean, are you serious? You're asking people to tune into something for 5.5 hours?
No,
that's like watching Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 back to back.
The longest movies ever.
Serious, but at least they're good.
Exactly.
Like I could sit here and watch Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 back to back and be entertained, even though I've seen them both 400 times. I know what happens, but I want to watch it because it's great stuff. But watching Tom Brady play golf, I don't know if I can do that much more.
I'd be out on it. I tried to look at it I watched a little bit of it, then I was like, you know what? I got other stuff that I can be doing right now.
Well, your boy Aaron Rodgers showed up. It was basically the Aaron Rodgers show.
Well, that's what he does, man, because at this point, he's hot. He wants everybody to know I'm out here still. I haven't been to camp yet. Look what you get if you get me. You get all of this.
Right. Yeah. My greasy long hair, my ugly beard. He looks like he just like washed up off the shore. Right. He was a castaway for like the last 8 weeks. I don't even know if he took a shower.
You know what he reminded me of, man? I don't know. You're not a fan of this, but I watched Batman, The Dark Knight. Yeah. He reminded me of, The Dark Knight then when he went up, they put him in this hole, man, and he had to get out the hole. He reminded me, he looked just like that dude back then, bro.
Now,
trying to get him.
Which is that the one with Christian Bale?
Yeah, Christian Bale. Okay. Yeah, Christian Bale.
Okay. Yeah. It was called The Dark Knight, but it was a very dark version of Batman too. Like the whole movie kind of had a dark feel to it, didn't it?
I love it, man. I watched it the day before yesterday, man. I love it, man.
Wow.
I'm that one. But yeah, man, the baseball, I'm just out of. In fact, I think we gave it too much time right now.
I totally agree. And the Penguin AZ says on the stream, baseball is like the Ford Fiesta for Harry, been long gone. You're right about that. But I tell you, there was a moment during that match last night. I don't know if you had caught it, where Brady and Rogers broke out in a game of catch, tossing football back and forth.
Get out of here.
I swear to God, it was super cool. And I rewound it. I watched it 2 or 3 times because the conversation that ensued while they're throwing the ball back and forth was Aaron Rodgers noticing that Tom Brady no longer stands the same way in the shotgun as he did his entire career, where he was kind of offset.
Yep.
Okay. With his right foot back, he's now more square to receive the snap in the shotgun. And he's talking to him about, I used to do that all the time. And now I've changed, this reason for this and that. But the fact that Aaron Rodgers noticed that, like these guys, they're on a different level. They pick up everything.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man, because I was watching film a couple months ago, and I saw it also. And I think it's because they changed the game plan on what he does now. He used to be a dink and dunk guy, but he has legitimate receivers to get down the field. So now he needs to be able to be in a position to use his waist and throw off his waist, because he's got to get the ball. He got to chuck it down the field, man. So because of that, he has to change a little bit of everything, because when you have Mike Evans, a burner that can get outside and take it down the field, you got Chris Godwin, another burner. All this is intermediate pass. He used to just go to the tight end where it'd be dink and dunk football. Boom, boom, boom. You just hitting these little receivers, Wes Welker, all these little guys.
Right.
Well, now he had to change it now because he has guys that can go down the field, the vertical threat. And that's what they want. Bruce Arians, BA, wants the vertical threat. So he has to change up a little bit. And that just goes to show you that he wants to be great at all times. So he's going to refine his game as he gets older to compensate for this, to make sure he can do that, which makes him a great player still, man. Still a great player.
No question about it. And, just to see their competitive juices in another sport is really interesting. I mean, these guys, whatever they play, whatever they're doing, they're trying to win it. Like it means a lot to win.
And also, Ryan Jensen, I mean, he's not the best center as far as getting the ball to him. So he has to stay square. So if the ball goes to the left or right, he can react to it, well, because he doesn't always get the ball back to him, and he understands that. So that's another reason why he changed his stance. But also, he loves that guy, man. So he's not going to change. He's not going to change the center to make sure he gets it. He's going to change himself, because his center is a real a-hole, man. He is one of the most talked about centers in the league, because he's just a nasty player, man. He got a nasty disposition. He wants to fight you and beat you down and make you quit in games. And you love players like that.
Yeah.
So what do? You make the best player in the game, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. In fact, the best quarterback to ever play the game, change himself he changed himself so he can help the center. So he doesn't, he's not as emphatic as far as, going to the left or the right. He changed his game of what he does to compensate for his center because the center is such a badass.
I remember you talking about him last season.
Oh, no
we
question.
started
Love
this
him.
show in middle of October.
Love him.
You brought him up several times over the course of the second half of the NFL season. I know he immediately jumped out at you and was a guy that you just loved at the position.
He wants to fight. He wants to beat you down. When you finish a game with him, you know you were in a game, man. So I love players like that, man. Love them.
And there were a couple awkward moments last night. I mean, this will be it on the match. Where there was some, conversation or comments made is a better way to describe it about the Green Bay Packers and whether, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Green Bay Pack. Like he was put in some uncomfortable situation.
Right.
And I thought he handled it really well. He kind of had a sort of a smirk on his face and he wasn't going there, man. But I get the indication that he's coming back and he's going to play.
He's going to play in Green Bay?
I think so.
Oh, he's not. He doesn't have a choice. There's no question that he has to go back to Green Bay because at this point, regardless of the GM or not, he just, they're not going to let that type of player leave. And it's totally different from Carson Wentz's position.
Right.
Carson Wentz was an unproven commodity. You have a proven commodity in A-Rod. I mean, A-Rod is the second best quarterback in the league, man. So, they're not.
Some will say he's the best. I mean, right. I mean, I'd still probably put. I mean, if you're going to, I'd toss a coin. Him and Mahomes.
Right.
I mean, you can't lose.
Exactly. I'm talking for production right now in this year. We're not talking about long term because we understand A-Rod is old. But as far as on the field production, what he brings to the game, there's no question in our mind that A-Rod, could be 1A or 1B. And Mahomes being the other.
All right, let's touch on the NBA series before we get into full-blown football over the next 90 minutes or so. Last night, the Suns were favored by 6, 7, 7.5 points, and then it came down to about 5, I think is where it went off at, depending on where you got it, because Giannis was able to play last night. Okay, he was doubtful and he was questionable, and then all of a sudden there he is. A late, not a late scratch, but a late ad. And all of a sudden you're thinking, wow, if he can play, this is a real game. Man, it wasn't. I thought, once Chris Paul got going in the second quarter, he was just masterful last night. And Eytan is emerging as a star type player. Booker, we know, is a star already. Those three, that is a really big three.
No question. I mean, because they all complement each other. And it's back. I like to always bring it back to the Sixers. That's the problem that the Sixers have. They don't have that field general out there. Say what you want to say about Ben being a great distributor.
But he's not a general.
He's not a general like that guy. That guy can do everything for them as far as getting the ball where it needs to go. I mean, slowing down when they need to slow it down, speeding up when they need to speed it up, and going out there and score when he has to score.
Right. There's a difference between having great vision and being able to make great passes.
Exactly.
And the difference between that and actually orchestrating the offense. Ben doesn't orchestrate offense.
And that's a difference.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and not necessarily, making your own, going out, if you could drive, you can make your own shot or take it out, step back, make your own shot. I'm not even talking about the shot. I'm talking about his presence on the field, being the general, articulating the offense, putting people where they need to go, telling people you need to do this. I mean, when you have a player coach like that on the court, it just makes you a more confident player. Now, I think another thing is, if you look at it, I think the Bucks sat back and started star watching, kind of the same thing that the Hawks did when Young came back.
Right.
They start star watching. All right, when are you going to take over the game? Which leads to look at the point production. Holiday, man, he should have took the game over.
Yeah, he was not good last night.
Exactly. He should have made that's how you combat a guy like CP3. You got to make him play defense. Make him go out there and expend enough energy like he's doing on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Holiday didn't do it. He didn't give it to him, man. He's got to play more consistent. He's got to play more consistent.
And I know Middleton, got he had 29 last night.
Yeah, he hit
a lot of shots, but he does a lot of dumb things.
Oh,
he really does. He cannot be your second best player if you're a team that's going to win a championship.
Exactly.
He's just not complete enough. And like you said, Holiday, did not have the greatest of games. Giannis gave it all he had. He only played 35 minutes, was it?
Yep, 35 minutes. He had 17 rebounds.
Yeah, really good. But the bottom line is that the 3 stars for the Suns outplayed the 3 stars, for the Bucks. It's that simple sometimes.
You can't have. Yeah.
Did you know? I mean, I told you this stat yesterday. Over the last 17 NBA champions, 12 of the last 17 won game 1 that went on to win the series.
Wow.
So advantage Suns.
That's
with
that
that
next level stats you get from Harry.
Yeah. Well, I got this too. I got more stuff here today. Of course, Chris Paul's a 16-year veteran in the league, right? He had 32 points and 9 assists. He passed LeBron James as the oldest player in the NBA Finals history to have 32 and 9 in a game. And he's the first player with at least 30 points and 8 assists in a Finals debut since that guy named Michael Jordan did it back in 1991. That's pretty incredible. 12 of 19 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, and all those assists. He's the story. Him, never really getting far into the playoffs, and now, at this advanced age and taking over this new team and really giving, all these young players sort of the leadership that they need. It's kind of a cool story if he ends up with the ring.
No question. Even with the coach also, the relationship he has with the coach, everybody thought Chris Paul was just washed up, and just from a production standpoint, he allowed the team to grow, and he just grew around the team. Now the team is looking to him, but they know Devin Booker is the star. Right. But he's looking at Chris Paul for leadership, and
pick and roll. They run the pick and roll. It's deadly. That Eytan is really impressing me, man. That guy's got such athleticism and speed for a big man.
And I mean, he's starting to develop his game. Like he's got a Euro step now.
Yeah.
He started to shoot from the outside.
And he's getting real good at the rim, finishing at the rim.
Exactly. And those are things that, just like Embiid did the same thing. His game went from this to this just by doing little things like the Euro step, finishing, understanding that, when you shoot free throws, when you make them, that's just like 10 or 15 extra points that you didn't have to work for. Yeah. So, I mean, Eytan, man, he in front of our eyes in this playoffs, man, he's turned into a major star, just like Capella did the same thing. He turned into a major star. Even when he left Houston and went to the Hawks, he's turned into a major star simply because his relationship with his point guard.
With his point guard, yeah. And
relationship with his point guard.
Yeah. And he's also great defensively. All right, the stream is going crazy here. There are a lot of comments about Charles Barkley last night, who was doing some of the commentary on the match. And one of his famous quote that probably went viral. I don't know if you heard this. But Joey B and several others are pointing it out on the stream. They showed they're in Montana playing golf, right? So there's wild wilderness around. There's a bear, literally a brown bear, I guess it was, or near one of the greens, messing with the cables. They have to run cables to get the broadcast through. Right. This, it looks like a golf course in a national park. Is what it looked like last night. All right. So they've got this big hookup of cables wrapped around a tree limb, and this bear's poking around, kind of a smallish bear, but a bear nonetheless. Right. And they got it on camera, and Charles comes over and he's doing the voiceover, and he's like, yeah, a lot of wildlife out here. I saw a couple cougars last night, man. And he says a whole lot of wild animals up here. And of course, he's talking about women that he saw out at the hotel or whatever. And everybody, it was this uncomfortable, should we laugh? Is it cool to laugh here or not?
Is this okay? Is this politically okay? Right. Are we going to get in trouble?
Right. Oh, it was great. It was total Charles being Charles.
Hey, Zan, can we get that? Xander, can we get that up? I wonder if we can get it.
Oh, if we could get that soundbite, that would be incredible. Man. Yeah, I'd love to play it. Maybe it would be during, if we get video, you could see the bear. It was actually pretty cool. I mean, it's literally maybe 20 yards from this green on this golf course. By the way, this golf course, it looks beautifully, visually stunning. I would never want to play it.
Why is that?
I'd probably lose like a box and a half of balls. Seriously.
I would go broke. I probably do the show for free if I went out there because I'd lose so many balls.
Exactly. All right, we got a couple minutes here before we got to take our first break, and then we'll have RJ Choppy coming to us from Dallas Fort Worth. and he's covered the Cowboys for a long, long time. He's actually a Tennessee alum. We can even ask him about, a little college football because they got a new head football coach down there.
Yes.
Barrett. So I know you love to talk some college. We can do it both with RJ. But give me and the audience an idea of what you really want to hit on with the Cowboys, and then of course with Jeff Kerr with the Eagles. What are the main things you want to dive into?
Defense, man, defense. They went out and got Michael Parsons, linebacker from Penn State.
Yeah.
Arguably the best linebacker in this draft. You're pairing him with two other pretty good linebackers, Van Der Esch. You got Jalen Smith. Yeah. And that defense, man, I want to see what they're going to do on the tail end. They got Kazee from Atlanta. Quinn is now the defensive coordinator. How is that going to work, man? That's what I want to know, bro. So I got a bunch of questions for him. I want to break it all
and of course, too, with Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, that whole relationship.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I'm wondering, too, and I want to see what you think about this. Since the Jimmy Johnson and Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin era ended, it has been Jerry Jones's team.
Yep.
It's the identity of the Cowboys has been and ends with Jerry Jones. Even when Parcells was there for a little bit, it was Jerry. And I think that's obviously been the problem. Is it ever going to be Dak Prescott's team now that he's the franchise quarterback and has gotten his contract? Because I think that would be a real important step.
No question.
For them to, stop being the Cowboys that we've known for the last. I don't really care that they win, but I'm just saying from their perspective.
Well, sometimes, you can't be the spearhead of the team, and you making all the decisions, and it's the guys on the field that dictate whether you're going to win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, nobody really cares what Jerry says. It's production on the field, and until he understands that it's going to be rough for him. Even like it was when I was with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Once they handed the reins to Ben, it became Ben's team. Even with that vaunted great defense, even the defense understood that the quarterback had to be the captain of the ship. He had to help him drive, had to help him get things going. So, I mean, it's not necessarily what management is doing. It's what your guys on the field are doing. And Jerry, he's too stuck on himself. He's building these, $2.5 billion stadiums, and he's more worried about making sure he's got somebody in there doing something and renting it out to them each and every day than what the production on the field is. He doesn't really care about that.
Well, he knows how to market the team. He's incredible at it. And they've got him back on Hard Knocks, too, which we have to talk to RJ about. I think this is their third appearance on Hard Knocks, which Hard Knocks has had some hard times over the last couple of years. The ratings keep going down and down. People are disinterested in it because it really, there's few great moments or funny moments because all these teams now are so afraid to show you anything. And players, don't really want to become that guy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of tough.
Well, at the end of the day, man, it's I have an innate hatred for Dallas and Jerry Jones simply because of Jerry Jones. The players on the team, they left that fantasy type that I came into the league and I saw. Can you imagine being out on the field and you're looking across at Emmitt Smith?
Right.
Or you looking at Troy Aikman or
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin out there. They lost
Charles Haley.
The El Gato, the cat. I mean, all those guys, man, they weren't sideshows. They were the show.
They were the show. Yeah, exactly. And now Jerry's the show.
Right.
So we'll talk to RJ here in a couple of minutes. Right now, we're going to take a short time out. And we'll be back with more on The Middle right here with Harry Mays and Barrett Brooks on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on JAKIB.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
And welcome back to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Harry Mays, Barrett Brooks on the middle. Eytan out today. And with Eytan being out, we thought we'd go deep into our all-star lineup. Today, we want to talk a little NFC East. We're talking football today. And whenever you talk football in the NFC East, you got to talk Dallas Cowboys. And lo and behold, they are back on Hard Knocks, too, which was just announced in the last couple of days. So we got a lot to get to with our first guest, and he is RJ Choppy from down in DFW. And, of course, he's on the Shannon RJ show, which you can hear every weekday on 105.3 The Fan. And I got to ask you about your show, too, because you guys made some big news. You kind of make big news basically every time Jera takes to the microphone on the show. But we had some fun last season with this on this show. Where we played the audio, and every now and then I like doing a little Jera Jones impression, and it was just fantastic. Where he just basically told, I believe it was Shan, he's like, "Will you just shut up?" That was just unbelievable. I mean, what is that like every week? Do you have to prepare for that segment at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want to sound like like idiots when we're interviewing them.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, we have to prepare for it. It's for the most part, it's a lot of it's the Tuesday after the game.
Right.
So we're still talking a lot of the game, and it's given him that 24-hour rule that he likes to use to get over it. Because if we talked to him on Monday, it'd be an entirely different show,
right?
For him and for us. But yeah, we got to prepare. Sometimes it's easier than others. Like last year was more difficult. We had to prepare going into the day. But sometimes when it's a big game and they blow something, it's cake. But other times it's more difficult.
Well, in saying that, and understand that Jerry's Jerry's team, and Jerry dictates, everything that comes out of that place, man. How do you guys create a connection with the players, when he's just, over everybody and making sure he's monitoring everybody, what's going on?
Well, I mean, he doesn't – I think there's a little bit of a misconception on that. The players do their own thing, and there's a whole – yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of there's a lot of connections. Now, we don't have, my show, we don't go out to the practices all that much.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we're done with the show, I mean, the Cowboys have practices sometimes during our show or just after our show. And it's just kind of difficult. It's about 40 minutes away from our studio, so it's kind of a pain to get up there. So we haven't developed a ton of relationships with the players, but a lot of the media does. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of the media has quite a bit of relationships with these guys. Jerry speaks after every game for the most part. And then with us on Tuesdays and Fridays, And really, that's really all he does.
What is the level? Obviously, there's expectations every year, in an NFL city, but it's especially places like Dallas. What is it like this year? Knowing how bad last year was, McCarthy in his second year, but now you got the quarterback signed. What is the level of expectation for this season?
I'm not going to say it's normally around here it's Super Bowl expectations. At least that's what the Cowboys like to project around, because they still think it's 1995. But I think the expectations for this year is a postseason with some movement. Mm-hmm. The way the NFC East is, this is not the greatest division in the world. They have the best quarterback of the division by a considerable margin. They should make the postseason. They should win the division. I think they have a better chance of winning the division than they do making the wild card. Because if they don't win the division, I can't see Washington going 10-7 now.
10-7.
So if you don't win this division, you're probably below 500. And I can't see them making the wild card without winning this division. Even though I guess there's no 500 team anymore. So that's the expectation. Win the division and see what happens.
Well, looking at the roster, what they did over the off season, they went out and got Micah Parsons. Just specifically from the defensive side of the ball, they got Micah Parsons. They went out and got Kazee from Atlanta. Quinn's now the defensive coordinator. So there's a higher expectation now for him. But I don't see the pass rush being like they had in the past. They got DeMarcus Lawrence. But I don't see the guys that used to heat it up from the outside. That I saw in the past. So how are they going to compensate for that?
That's a good question. I think last year, I don't know what to make of last year's team because, obviously they had a new coach in. There was not a big offseason. And quite frankly, Mike Nolan, his system just wasn't working here with the players that he had. He had guys that were trying to fit in two gaps that weren't two gap guys. And it was just a big mess that they had here. From a pass rush standpoint, Tank and Randy Gregory aren't terrible.
Right.
They can win their individual pass rush matchups. The problem is they don't really get to the quarterback. They'll beat their guy one-on-one. They'll create pressures. They'll create hits, but they don't finish the play. Now, is that the end-all be-all? They can move the quarterback up in the pocket and hope a rush from the middle gets them. There's a lot of different things that can go on there.
Yes,
but just Parkins. Those two.
Yes, Center Smith.
Absolutely. Definitely. So they have the ability to do that. It's just a matter of finishing the play and creating the sack. And that defensive pass rush that this team has or doesn't have it was a problem last year.
Well, now, obviously, Dak missed the majority of the season last year with a really horrific injury. I had a similar one, but I was 52 years old when I had mine, and my recovery was long and I'm probably still going through it. But what is the status of Dak? Do you think he'll be good to go to start the season as close to 100% as possible, or is this going to be sort of the first couple weeks sort of gradually getting to 100%?
I think he's pretty close to 100. I'm not going to say he's at 100 for one. I haven't really seen him in person all that much. But the other thing is, with any time with these injuries, I don't even think they know if they're 100% until they get up for that first tackle.
Yeah. And
until they get hit on it. And that's the biggest thing. To me, the injury, the health, the stability of the ankle is one thing. I think that's fine. Whatever the mental hurdle is, if there even is one, but whatever that mental hurdle is, that's the one that we won't know until the second week of September.
Mm-hmm.
But and I just don't know that there's any way to find that out in preseason or training camp when quite frankly they don't hit anymore and they don't play preseason games. They don't play starters in preseason games that much.
Well, we were talking about this a little bit before you came on, but how was Jerry Jones's show? Well, with Dak coming back, the expectation is that he's going to be pretty good. Will it be his team? Can he be Mr. Cowboy, Mr. Dallas, and outshine Jerry? Will Jerry allow that to happen?
Dak, yes. Look, it's already his locker room, right? It's already his locker room.
Right.
Dak walked from the moment he played basically with the moment Kellen Moore got hurt, not even when Romo got hurt.
Right.
Because when Romo got hurt, Kellen Moore was still the guy. From the moment Kellen Moore got hurt in training camp in Oxnard, California, that was Dak's team. He owned that locker room. This is one of the great leaders in the game, at least that has come through here. He's fantastic. He owns that locker room. Jerry pays the bills, but Dak owns that locker room. And from a fan base's perspective, it's. I think the Jerry aspect. I think a lot of the fans here don't really say, "Oh, this is Jerry as the overlord." They look at it as, is it McCarthy's team? Is it Dak's team? How's that work? Who's the best player on the team? So I think it is Dak's, quite frankly.
Let's talk about McCarthy. Rough year for him last year. I never really understood the hiring of Nolan as the defensive coordinator, and obviously they've moved on. They realized that was a mistake. How big of a year is this for McCarthy? Because if they get off to a slow start, there was rumors he was on a hot seat at the end of last season. What's his status right now, and how dependent on a good start is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what to make of last year. Like, do you throw the last year out? Like, anytime you don't have a quarterback,
right?
What are your odds of winning games? Not very good. I also don't think I didn't necessarily understand the hire of Mike Nolan either. I didn't understand them hiring Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you.
Right.
For me, I'm already like, he was a dead man walking before he even got here.
Right, with Aaron Rodgers.
In my mind.
Yeah.
But the guy had Aaron Rodgers went to one Super Bowl, and that was a decade ago. And I'm like, come on, guys, what are we really doing here? So there's a million other people that were qualified that hadn't been given a chance. But look, he's here now. You root for, at least, I'm rooting for him to have success, even though I think that he is on somewhat of a hot seat. And I think the reasoning, and if you look back at the Jason Garrett tenure, Jason Garrett had some subpar seasons, but Jason Garrett's family.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McCarthy's not family. Mike McCarthy is a hired gun. And whatever, even if that's cheesy, and it is cheesy, that's Jerry. Like, Jerry's he's got that sort of cowboy family mantra, and I honestly think he can't wait to give that job to a Jason Witten or somebody of that ilk.
Family didn't buy Doug Peterson all that much time after he won a Super Bowl here in Philadelphia.
No.
They got him up out of here. Yeah, man. Just looking at that team and the way it's constructed, I really thought that they were going to go into the next, at least the next 4 years, with Ezekiel Elliott being the spear, of that whole offense. And it looks like, they're kind of fading away from him a little bit. Do you think they, turn the page on him, or, is he going to get back to being the Ezekiel Elliott we've seen, where they trust him running the ball 25 times a game, especially with Tony.
Carry.
Yeah.
I
mean, Tony Pollard's pretty good also, but will he be that volume carrier that they need? Great description to him, Harry. A volume carrier again.
Yeah. That's a good question. One of the things we never saw with McCarthy before he got here was him. We never saw him without one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league. Right. We also never saw him with a running back the caliber of Zeke. Right? Unless I'm forgetting somebody in Green Bay, which I don't think so.
No.
So it was, right? I don't think we're going to see the 2016-17 Zeke again. I think the Cowboys have they've kind of moved past that style of football. It's kind of more old school. Now, we'll see him carry it 25 times if they're winning.
Right.
And they got to run out the clock. And I
pass
think
to get the league and then run to keep the league. Lead. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what you're going to see. And that's fine. But just like starting out saying, hey, we're just going to hand him the rock 25, 30 times a game, no matter what. I don't think the Cowboys are there. I don't think that's where they are. And plus, and I do think Zeke can handle it. But Zeke also has, it seems like, lost a step, or maybe more importantly, the world-class offensive line he had at the beginning of his career isn't as world-class as it used to be. It's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Martin's the best player on this team. If you were to just look at the overall, like, who's the best at what they do on this team, it's probably Zach Martin. And Tyron's
Connor Williams pretty good too.
Connor's pretty good. Tyron's good when he's healthy. He's fantastic.
Right.
But they've got some other guys in that line that have some question marks, and that's going to impact Zeke.
Pretty tough start here at Tampa Bay and at the Rams to start off the season before you guys welcome our Philadelphia Eagles in there for what is that? Is that that's a Monday night game? Week 3.
Well, we like to call Tampa and the Rams starting as win-win. That's how we're looking at it down here. I mean, we know Tom Brady doesn't care about the regular season or the first 4 games. Never did in New England.
Right.
They somehow only beat one team with a winning record last year. I have no idea how that. And then the Rams. I mean, I don't even know what to make of them. I think they're so talented. I have no idea what to make of Matt Stafford. Like, Matt Stafford just simply can't beat teams with winning records ever. But I mean, then again, he was in Detroit, so it's a tough start. You're right. It is a tough start, though.
No, that's the Eagles. We're sitting the same way, man.
Yeah.
And it's tough for us all around, man. But just looking at this division, and whoever you're gonna have anybody from this division that makes the playoffs has to win the playoffs, because, like you said, nobody's going to be able to be in a wild card game at all, at all. But who do you see, as a team that Dallas going to have to really look at? Is it the Giants with Jones and the weapons that they have with Galladay and all those guys, or is it the Washington football team? They just got Samuels, Fitzmagic is at the helm right now, and that defense is pretty good, man. They got some real players on that defense. Who do you see as far as the team that Dallas probably looking over their shoulder at?
Man, that defense is very good in Washington. I like Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, for 4 or 5 games, looks like the best dang quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
And then for 4 or 5 games, that is Sam Bradford reincarnated.
Right.
It's really, really odd. I think Washington is probably the team that we're most looking at as a threat. And you know what's going to happen. We're going to be way wrong on that, and Washington's going to be terrible. And the Giants are going to, bring their pesky little heads up there with Daniel Jones and be good.
Saquon Barkley back.
Yeah, Barkley back, or Philadelphia. It would probably surprise me if Philadelphia wins, just because it just sounds like there's more turmoil there than maybe they're actually. It just sounds like from afar, it just sounds like there's turmoil there.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you believe in Jalen Hurts or not, which
right.
I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Boy, turmoil. I don't know where you'd ever get that from afar.
Yeah.
Looking at this, I mean,
not
a Super Bowl winning head coach gets fired 3 years after winning a Super Bowl. The franchise quarterback just begs his way out of town and gets traded back to where his old offensive coordinator was. No turmoil here. Nothing to see here.
The scout won't even shake the GM's hand in the middle of the draft room. I mean, it's just,
did you see that? Did you see? I mean,
that was incredible.
Don't be airing our dirty laundry like that,
was
man.
Great. That was one of the highlights of the draft, RJ. Are you kidding me?
It was.
That to go with 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago when Minnesota, they got the camera on the Minnesota Vikings war room, and the Eagles passed on Jefferson to take Rager, and they basically just acted like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. I don't like. It was funny to see the GM and the scout not like. Shake hands or whatever, even though we all know we've all been in those situations where you have a disagreement with your coworker.
Right.
It doesn't mean you hate your coworker. It just means you disagree with them on things.
And everybody's competitive. It's a competitive environment, You
don't work in that building, and you don't work in the building that we work in without having some kind of competitive fire. And I think most people are like that.
Right.
No question, man. But I just love that, football is right around the corner, man. And looking at this Eagles team and comparing them to, what the Cowboys are doing, and our GM being what he is, I mean, how do you guys look at Howie Roseman from outside the city? What do you guys look at him as?
I am in the vast minority. I like Howie. I think he's got a good perspective on the process that it is to build a team.
Oh, we can't say process. We can't say process.
Yeah, the process. That's a bad
word.
I know. Even though old Sam built a dynasty in the making with the Sixers,
right?
You can't say the process. But I like the fact that he's a risk taker. Mm-hmm. That he's like, if this is the right move, if I feel it's the right move, and it doesn't work out, I can live with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that about him. So I do like Howie as a GM.
One last one for RJ Choppy, and you can follow him on Twitter at RJ Choppy. I know you're a Tennessee alum, and they've gone through some football coaches over the last couple of years. They got a new one in there now. What's your outlook on the Volunteers in the SEC going forward here?
My outlook is I am out looking for a new team. That's my outlook.
You're out looking.
That is crazy, man.
Look,
I mean,
I never thought I would say this because I was there for Peyton's senior year. I was there for the national title team as a student. I never thought we would be a basketball school.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But we're and a baseball school. But we are a basketball and college baseball school right now, and it's pretty tough.
I do a lot of college football on the weekends, man, and my favorite place to go, man, one of the favorite stadiums I've ever been in is you guys' stadium, man. That is
Neyland Stadium, yeah.
That is a beautiful, man.
Well,
right
it's
off,
rocking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? You got the
When
yachts
it's rocking,
out
it's
there.
fun. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you guys had some players go through there, like Alvin Kamara. You know what I mean? Why do you guys run him? Or I mean, I've seen some talent go through Tennessee that was crazy, but you know, and we go out and get, you know, our what was it, 12th round pick? We go out and get Derek Barnett.
Well, Derek Barnett, 12th pick overall.
Yeah. So he's got some stuff he's got to do this year.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he was a fantastic player in college, Derek.
Yeah.
But Tennessee had Alvin Kamara. They couldn't figure out how to use him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know, they barely played Jalen Hurd over him, who wound up being a tight end in his next stop at Baylor. And it's like, guys, what are we doing here? We got one of the most dynamic. I mean,
ridiculous.
Did we lose the connection with RJ?
I think we lost.
Man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's absolutely crazy, man. Well, hey, man, we
All
appreciate
right,
it,
RJ.
man.
Thanks for jumping on, man. We appreciate it. We'll touch base during the season, hopefully.
No question, man. No question, man. Give us a ring, bro.
Let's do it.
We'll let you know about the process, okay?
Yes, the process. Let's do it.
All right, RJ. Thanks so much.
Take it easy, man.
There he is, RJ Choppy down in DFW. And I talk about that. He's talking about doing that Jerry Jones show, right, on Tuesdays.
Right.
Jerry needs a day, you know, like between the game and when he's going to talk to the media. I need a day to decompress. You know, I got to get my Josh wine and just sort of relax and reflect and get some perspective.
Man, it's got to be a layup down there.
Yeah,
that's a layup, man. To do you know, sports down in Dallas. You know, when it comes to the Cowboys, that would be a layup, man, because he just gives you too much. He makes it too easy. You know, way too easy. It's
kind of like I would imagine what it would have been like to do like New York radio back when the Yankees were great guns and Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner was like, you know, he forced himself into he was all over the media, like, and he was somebody to talk about. It's like, we don't talk about our owner.
No,
you know, and when we do, it's like kind of like he says something kind of weird once a year, and you're just like, oh, please go away. You know,
the gold standard.
He give
you a little cliche stuff and just leaves it out there.
Emotional intelligence, you know, this kind of stuff. Like every once in a while, he gives you one of those things, but it's never very entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, you know, he'll give you one little nugget that we'll beat on for an entire year till he gives us the next one. Till he gives us the next one.
Well, like Howie too, you know, like pepperoni or sausage, you know, like he gives you a couple of those quotes and you jump on it for a while. And now we got Sirianni with the rock, paper, scissors thing. You know,
I mean, gold, man.
Hopefully he wins the game week 1 and we can forget about that for good.
We got to. Man.
Okay.
He's got to do something like that, man. Just take our minds off that, you know. Next time we're talking about Uno or something, you know.
Right.
He's got to give us more than that. But I mean, look what he said, you know, what RJ said, bro. At this point, it's like mass hysteria. You know, the outside looking in, Philadelphia, and us in our fishbowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're thinking it's mass hysteria out here.
Turmoil is what he used. Is the word he used. Yeah.
What are we doing? You know, that's where outsiders look at us. That's like me when I was younger. I never wanted to embarrass my dad. Never. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was going to conduct myself out in the streets like I had some sense, because eventually it would get back to my.
It would get back. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't see, you know, us as an organization doing that. We just air our dirty laundry out there for everybody to see. You know, nobody should have known about the process. It should have been behind closed doors about the process. but we just did it so everybody can see it.
The defensive coordinator retired. The head coach gets fired, and the freaking franchise quarterback wants out of town.
I love how you said he begged his way out of town.
Yeah.
He absolutely begged his way out of town.
I want out of here, man. I'm not coming back. I don't care if it's Nick Sirianni or, Nick Cale. I'm not playing for him. Not here.
Who does that, though,
I want
man?
Frank Reich.
How does that happen? How do we, I mean, you see what Green Bay's like, nah, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
Hey, Rod, you will play here. You're not playing anywhere.
Right. Go play golf.
That's what it is. Right.
And host Jeopardy. But great touch and base with RJ. Did you notice? I noticed. I was going to get to this, but we ran out of time. Doesn't he sound almost? If you didn't see him and you didn't see the other guy, but you put both of their voices on the same time, Mike Gill and RJ Choppy
just about to say
exactly alike.
I was just about to say it. And people on the stream, he didn't have a country accent,
like a Texas accent. No.
But you were absolutely
sounds
right.
like Mike Gill.
If I close my eyes, I would see Mike Gill in front of me.
Right.
When he was talking, I would absolutely see it, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He sounds just like Mike Gill, or Mike Gill might sound like him.
Right.
But
today,
hey, man,
today Mike Gill sounds like him because he was on the show today.
Right.
All right.
right.
All right. We got Jeff Kerr coming up to start the next hour. Now, is there a development? Is D-Gun not able to come on today at 12:30?
Yeah, he has a family emergency.
Okay.
That's pretty important, So we gotta let him slide for that. I can't even give him any flack for this, man.
And you'd love to too.
It would be worth my while, man. So I'm gonna look up some more guests, man. On the break. So when we get to the break, I'm gonna find somebody.
All right. Well, before we get to the break and get to Jeff Kerr, just give me your thumbnail on the Cowboys and what record you think they'll end up with, here in early July. You can change this as the year goes on before the season starts. But on July 7th, the Cowboys look like a what team to you? Meaning wins
just
and
what
losses.
he said, around either 10-7, maybe an 11-6. Just because if that, and it's just like an if for the Eagles, if that offensive line stays healthy, if Tyron Smith plays, Connor, those are really good players. Just like he said, their offensive line, Zach Martin is the best player on the team.
Yeah,
he didn't sugarcoat it or anything. He said he's the best player on the team. And watching him, Zach Martin, I think it's a toss-up between him and Brandon Brooks as far as the two best guards in the league.
Well, now watch out. Landon Dickerson might have something to say about that before the season's over.
Well, I'll tell you what, Howie better hope so.
Yeah, for passing on a cornerback in the second, better hope so.
He better hope so, man.
Yeah.
Tyron Smith, man. At this point, I think Lane is better than he is right now. They were, it was Tyron Smith was the best tackle in the league. I think now that now Lane has jumped over him as far as being the best tackle. Well, one of the best tackles in the league. I think he's ahead of Smith right now because Smith can never stay healthy. I mean, Lane stays more healthy than Smith does, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. That is.
Connor Williams, another good player, from out of Texas. He's a good player.
Yeah. Now Dom Lewis on the stream says, and he's exactly right. He's exactly right. Don't forget about Quentin Nelson, plays for the Colts. That guard, he's also from Notre Dame, right?
No question. Yep.
Zach Martin and Nelson, both from Notre Dame, and they're both nasty guards, man.
And they got another guy came out this year who's even better. So it's I think Nelson's probably number one, and then you have Brooks and Martin, or 1A, 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
But if that offensive line stays healthy, La'el Collins was pretty good. I thought they should have picked him up, but he had all that stuff going on with him at the time back in LSU.
Right.
Him and the Green Goblin, I guess we're doing the same things back during that time. But he should have been a first round draft choice.
Yep.
They stole him and got him.
I remember that.
In the draft. So if they can have that offensive line stay healthy and they can run the rock with Ezekiel Elliott, they have the makings of being a real, because they can already throw it. They can always hose it, man. They got three great receivers in Cooper, Gallup, and Lamb.
All right, so 11-6, 10-7 is where you are with the Cowboys. All right, we're going to take a quick time out, and we'll start off hour number 2 with Jeff Kerr, our buddy from CBS Sports, and talk more Eagles, football, and NFC East right here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. You're listening to The Middle with Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
All right, we're back on The Middle. Harry Mays and Barrett Brooks. Eytan out today. He'll be back with us tomorrow. We're going to start off hour number 2, talking some more football here on the Fritz and B and Cooley studios with our buddy from CBS Sports, another PA guy. He's our buddy Jeff Kerr, and I reached out to Jeff this morning, or actually last night. I thought I sent the email link to the right email address. Apparently I didn't. I transposed one of the letters in your email address, and of course it doesn't come. And I'm like, man, Jeff didn't respond. I wonder if he's out of the country. Maybe he's on vacation, because this is the time all the guys in the football media at least get their vacations in, just like the players and the coaches before the season starts at the end of the month. I'm like, yeah, he's probably with Baldy in Costa Rica or something, surfing.
Diving for a lobster somewhere,
Right. Swimming with manatees or something, with Baldy. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to send it to him again. And I sent it to the correct email address, and he gets right back to me. He goes, dude, I didn't get the first one, but hell yeah, I'll come on. So glad to have you on, Jeff. What's going on today?
Hey, thanks, Harry. Thanks, Barrett. Yeah, so when I go on vacation, I'm one of the weird guys. I go on vacation, but I stay home. I play in my basketball league, and I run 10Ks. I'm not one of those guys. I have to be active during my vacation. I'm not one to sit on the beach.
Right. So you're more like a staycation guy.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
me
doing
too.
Nothing is better than doing something.
Well, I'm the type, man, that I can always find something to do around my house when I'm on vacation, man.
That's how I am. I want to do this office here a bit, get rid of some stuff. And so that's pretty much what I've been doing. It's kind of a work in progress. I'm working on my basement, making that the man cave. So that's pretty much what I'm doing this
week.
That's
good work by you.
Barrett's got a lot of women around in his life that he never really gets a vacation.
No, they go all the time. They go all the time. And they leave me here.
Right.
Bro, I'm telling you, they've been everywhere, man. And they leave me right here. I'm talking about Dubai. They've been to Thailand. And where am I at? Right here.
Doing a show with me.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, I can start you off. We talked with RJ Choppy, who does been doing radio forever down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and covers the Cowboys, and he has Jerry Jones on his show every week. And we asked, I think this was Barrett, who just said, hey, from afar, like, how do you guys view the Eagles organization? And he said the first word that came to mind was turmoil.
I don't think it's that bad. I think the Texans are turmoil.
Yes, well, okay.
Right.
Chance to be good this year.
Well, you're absolutely right, man. But just from going on, with the front office, I think they're starting to settle down a little bit. People are really starting to turn the corner on really thinking that the quarterback situation isn't as bad as we think. Hurts might be good enough. This team might be a lot better than we're thinking. I think that's starting to be the common census on, what I've been asking people about. And, they're starting to believe in Hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not one for hot takes per se, but I remember, I think I said last December, I may have made it in a tweet or wrote an article about it. Jalen Hurts played the whole year for the Eagles. They probably would have won 7 or 8 games just based on how he played. And, everybody wants to point out the completion percentage and the yards per attempt, but look at the dynamic he brought to that offense. That offense was the most exciting, at least I felt that last month of the season all year. And, look at the Cardinals game, look at the Cowboys game. I know they went stagnant in the second half, so same with the Saints game, but you saw a lot of progress out of that offense. And I started thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe this team isn't as bad as I initially thought it was.
I definitely don't think so.
Well, what do you think the Nick Sirianni offense is going to look like? Like, if you had to sort of compare and contrast to what we'd seen over the last couple of years with the Doug Peterson offense, how different do you think it will look under Sirianni? I'll
tell you what, Harry, come January, I didn't think I was going to watch as many Indianapolis Colts games this year as this offseason, at least as much as I thought I wasn't. I went back to 2018, 2019. They really used Nyheim Hines a lot. And I think that was more Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni than anything else. They really want to create a running back, a pass-catching running back out of the backfield. That was the first thing I've noticed. So Jalen Hurts can get the ball to Miles Sanders, to Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, to Austin Scott. I really feel this offense is going to be running back-esque, if you will. Like, they're going to run the ball a lot, but they're going to throw the ball lots to running backs. Their offense is based on getting a running back open in space, and I feel that's going to be the basis of what they're going to try to do this year.
No, they're going to have to, man. I mean, at this point, you're asking the offensive line, and if they are healthy, they could be one of the best offensive lines in the league. It's just a part of their health. But you're absolutely right. How do you get a young quarterback to settle down? How do you get a young quarterback to go through his progression? And if things do start going haywire on you, what do? You dump it right to the back. You give him an opportunity to go out and make a play, get the ball in his hands. And that's exactly what they did in Indianapolis. I mean, if you look at it, their running back situation, they got better as the season went on. And Jonathan Taylor really took huge steps towards the end of the season where they needed him, as opposed to the beginning of the season. Beginning of the season, he was okay. But towards the end of the season, he became the focal point of that offense. Him and his ability to run the rock allowed Rivers to become a better quarterback towards the end of the season. So I think it'll be the same thing with this offense here with the Eagles. If they can do it, that's if they can make him more comfortable by protecting him, not just by the guys up front, but by using the backs, maybe even the tight end here and there, open things up a little bit. I definitely see that.
I'll be honest, and they should be able to do that. I mean, Jordan Mailata was a lot better than I thought he was going to be last year. I remember probably last July, if someone asked me to evaluate Jordan Mailata, 7th round pick, it's not a bust per se, but it's like, okay, this was a waste of a pick. Like, what are we doing here? All the guy does is get hurt. Now it looks like he has the potential to be a franchise left tackle just based on what I watched last year.
Amazing.
And same with Andre Dillard. Like, I honestly feel like Andre Dillard's going to have that mean streak this year. I can't wait to watch him in camp just because I feel last year kind of lit a fire under him. Like, okay, this job is not mine. And, you got Lane Johnson coming back. You know how good he is. Jason Kelce you could argue he had his best year of his career last year just based on numbers. And he didn't get an all-pro selection, which was insane. I guess they just don't give it to 4-11-1 football teams.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and Brandon Brooks, it's the same thing. Like, he's back. He's still one of the best right guards in the game. Isaac Seumalo does more than enough at left guard, and he may even get competition for his job with Landon Dickerson. That's what I love about this team. There's competition across the board, and there's a lot more depth than last year. Like, if Carson Wentz got hurt, you knew that they had Jalen Hurts. But if everybody else got hurt, you're like, okay, is Jordan Mailata really going to replace Jason Peters? Or, who's going to replace Jason Kelsey? Is it going to be Nate Herbig? Like, we found out a lot about Nate Herbig. We found out a lot about Jack Driscoll. On defense, we found out a lot about Josh Sweat. That's one thing I really liked about the Eagles last year, even though it was a lost year. There were a lot of guys you could find out that played football. Alex Singleton was one of them. And that's one thing about this team this year. They are going to be deep.
You talk about Dillard, and you're thinking, maybe this is the year that the mean streak shows up. And, Barrett, obviously pays a lot of attention to every position, but really keen on the offensive line. And he, brought up something that he just didn't see that at all in him. And it's true, but can you develop that, or is that just who you are?
I think offensive line, and Barrett would know this better than anybody, I think it comes, honestly. I really do. Like, more than any other position in football, like, we always talk about, like, Ben Simmons in basketball. Can he develop, like, that killer instinct? Well, I think basketball players are a lot different than, say, certain football players. Like, if you don't have that tough guy mentality in football, you're just not going to last in the National Football League. And Andre Dillard can't figure it out this year. He's never going to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And looking at Andre Dillard and understanding what he's facing right now. He's a first-round pick. They traded up to get him. Expectations were high on him last year. He gets hurt. When he gets hurt, it seemed like it was a great, weight lifted off his body. He seemed like he was a better person, after he got hurt, because he didn't have to compete now. Now he saw a guy jump in and become a dominant left tackle for this Eagles team. Now he sees, all right, I got to fight. It's not getting handed to me. Jordan Mailata, they invested a lot of time, a lot of resources in this guy. It's going to take me a little bit to go in and beat this guy out. Can he do it? I'm going to tell you, I don't believe so unless he gets that mean streak. But, hey, you never know. You can go out there and it just turn on like that, just like with Dillard. Just like with Jordan Mailata. I saw in the Dallas game where it clicked. Like, he became a monster of a man simply because of one play. He goes out. He hits, he hits the defensive end, drills him on the ground, drives him into the ground. He's like, wow, I can hit this guy and I can hurt him if I wanted to. Let me keep doing this. And from that point on, it clicked in his head. He was ready to play after that because he used his aggressive nature and he became a more dominant player just from him going out to say, all right, I can beat DeMarcus Lawrence. I can beat anybody in the league. And it changed for him after his mentality changed after that. And I can see, Dillard may have the same moment, but unless he gets that moment, it's going to be hard for him to get a spot on this team.
I agree. And that's the other thing, Barrett. We kind of know what Jordan Mailata can do against a Dallas front four. We saw what he could do against Chase Young a little bit last year, even though that Week 17 game was pretty much meaningless. Like, Chase Young didn't really make an impact in that game until kind of later in it. Like, when the Eagles were, I guess we can call it tanking. I don't know what they were actually
right
at that point. But for me, at least, I was really impressed with Jordan Mailata last year, and I don't even think he scratched the surface of his potential.
Not even close.
Yeah, I think he has a ceiling. Jordan Mailata, I really don't know what that ceiling is, and that's great for the Eagles.
All right, well, what about, we're talking about a lot of the positives here. Are there positives in the defensive backfield, the way you see this team, or because that looks like a major shortfall, at least where we are on July the 7th. A lot can change between now and the start of the season. I get all that, but what's your assessment of that area?
Here's the thing. I don't think the Eagles can compete for a division title until they get CB2 figured out. Like, I like Zach McPherson. I don't want him in that spot. I feel like you're just asking that guy to fail as a rookie. I like him as a slot cornerback. There's nothing against Avonte Maddox. I actually think he's a fine player, but I feel the Eagles are going to move him around a little bit, and he's more of a depth piece than he is a starter. I think they need a guy like Steven Nelson in there, or they got to trade for somebody. Like I know a lot of people like to bring up Stephon Gilmore. I just don't feel the Eagles have the cap space or the resources, or they want to use the resources necessarily to do that. I'd rather sign a Steven Nelson on like a 1 or 2 year deal and just kind of get a solid number 2 cornerback in there with Darius Slay, a guy who can play the outside, and a guy who I feel Jonathan Gannon can use his strengths. That's one thing I just don't like about this team right now. I'm really scared about that. I think their linebacker position is going to be a lot better than people think. I think the safety position is fine, but they really need to get that cornerback too figured out, or it's going to be a long year.
I at this point, man, I'm thinking a lot better about the situation at the secondary because yes, I'm starting to think, and it's not because
what the hell happened overnight.
It's not necessarily what they're going to do. Is it's going to be a mix and match. Zach McPherson, he'll get his opportunity. He probably won't start. It'll probably be Avonte Maddox starting it off. But there was some players that played last year that really showed me, that they might have the ability to really play. Like, say what you want to say. Craig James, he stepped up a little bit. He doesn't care. He's fearless. He's just going to go out there and fight every single play. Michael Jaquette, he's like 6'1", can run. He's going to get another year under his belt. He's going to get a lot better. Not saying that they're going to be able to compete, with these wide receivers, especially in Dallas. You got 3 guys in Dallas. You got 3 or 4 guys with the Giants. You got 2 or 3 guys with the Washington football team. I'm not necessarily saying the secondary can cover them, but what I'm saying, the guys up front and the scheme that Gannon is going to implement. I think they're going to blitz more. They're going to use the talent that they have at the linebacker position for blitzing purposes. They're going to bring in, a guy like, Jacoby Stevens, who they drafted to be a linebacker / safety who can play that like almost like they call a monitor position in high school. It's more so a guy that's a safety, and it's going to be, they're going to call it like big nickel, in which he can be around the line of scrimmage and blitz like a Jamal Adams. I see him doing stuff like that, more so than just allowing the front 4 to just blitz. And I think Gannon likes stuff like that. He likes to be able to blitz guys from different positions on the field, blitzing linebackers. Those are things that you can use and help the secondary become better players, man. And that'll be the only way they can do it, is they start blitzing more. And we love blitzing here in Philadelphia.
What scares me about Michael Jaquette, and it's not his coverage ability. I'm afraid like the Eagles are going to cut him because of cornerback depth or whatever, and he becomes like a Chandon Sullivan type out. Chandon Sullivan ended up with the Green Bay Packers. He's actually a solid cornerback. And
right.
Here, he wasn't good, and it was nothing against Chandon Sullivan. I don't know if it was the scheme or what, but I'm like, okay, this guy has some talent. I watched him at Georgia State. Like, the kid can play, and I just don't want to see that happen to a guy like Michael Jaquette. So you're right, Barrett. Maybe another year of him won't be the worst thing in the world for the Eagles.
Right. All right. Well, let's go to Jalen Hurts. And I know, some guys are very high on him. I don't really know what to make of him, except that he seems to be a great leader and a great teammate and a great, type of person that you'd want in your locker room. As far as being a quarterback at the NFL level for, 17 games, not just coming in to sort of take up for a franchise player who had lost his way, I don't know what to make of him. He turned the ball over a lot. He's 50 some odd % completion percentage, which is not good in this NFL. You got to be about 65 or you're not good. So I realized he was dealing with some wide receiver issues, offensive line issues, some of the same things that Carson dealt with last year. What makes us think that he's all of a sudden going to be a starting quarterback in this league just because he happens to be our starting quarterback?
I just think the way the league's shifting, I'm not saying you can get away with a 52.9 completion percentage,
right,
but he's kind of like a poor man's Lamar Jackson at this point. Like, he just adds another dimension to the offense that, no disrespect to Carson Wentz, he just didn't have. And, when this offensive line was in shambles last year, Jalen Hurts makes a 10-yard loss, a 10-yard gain just by his legs. And I feel like if you're going to base your offense off the running backs, you got to use Jalen Hurts to that advantage too. And now that you have better blockers, I feel like getting Jalen Hurts outside the pocket and utilizing his strengths is really going to benefit this team, at the beginning of the year. And when teams eventually figure him out, and that's when you can see, okay, can this guy pass from the pocket? Like, if we take away, outside the hash marks, can Jalen Hurts complete a 10-yard slant to Devonta Smith. I think he can do that, but it's not going to be right away. And I think that's what the coaching staff, especially Brian Johnson, needs to do for him.
Well, these days they're implementing college type of offenses. You look what's going on in Arizona. They're trying to make sure that they, get the best out of the personnel people that they have. And you're going to have to be a dual threat. He's going to have to be a dual threat quarterback. They don't want him to be outside his comfort zone of being a drop back quarterback. It's a lot different when he was in college. Mm-hmm. But one of the, not talking about his physical ability, not his arm strength or reading defense or anything else. I think one of the best traits that Hurts has is the ability to lead men. People love playing for him, and his teammates will definitely rally behind him. And I think that's a trait that they're not giving as much credit to him as a leader in that locker room than we should.
Yeah, Barrett, and you can relate to this too. When you played for the Eagles in 95, 96, when Ty Detmer came in, you could see that spark, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. And it can will you to victory. Like, even if the quarterback himself isn't the most talented player in the world, he still can be in that locker room, just things he says, things he does, and it just inspires you. And I feel like if Jalen Hurts fails physically, and he's already athletically gifted, but if it just doesn't work out, I still feel every week the Eagles are going to go to battle for him, even if he's struggling. And
absolutely,
that's one thing I like about him. And last year with Carson Wentz, and again, it's stuff I hear too. I just don't know if Carson had that fire last year compared to previous years. And that's what worried me about him. I'm like, okay, is this guy checking out? Because when you hear stuff behind the scenes, it's okay, I know this guy isn't like this all the time, so something must be going on. And Jalen Hurts, the guy just has no fear. He just doesn't care.
All right, if I had to ask you, Jeff, for one word to describe this upcoming season as it stands right now, to sort of describe the year, what word would you use?
Oh, man.
Because I got one.
You go yours first.
All right. Experimental.
I'll say interesting. How's that?
Oh, okay. Well, it's definitely going to be interesting.
I thought you were going to say interesting before.
Well, they are always interesting for us. There's no doubt about it. They were, before they won the Super Bowl, I had said that they're one of the most compelling sports franchises, that had never won anything in the modern era, because there's always something going on. There's always, something, the front office is doing something. They're always grabbing your attention.
It's almost like a live-action soap opera, like The Young and the Restless. Only this year, I don't think we're going to get it with the quarterback position for once. I always used to joke the backup quarterback is the most popular athlete in Philadelphia. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be that guy this
year. My word is going to be fight. No matter how bad they're outmatched, how bad they're being outcoached, I don't feel as though they'll be out physical. I think they'll bring a physical nature to the game. When you have when you're a fighter, you have a fighter's chance. It gives you an opportunity to at least be in the game. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to fight, man. They're going to give it all, not just for, Jalen Hurts, but they're going to give it all for this coaching staff. You got a young group of guys. They're going to get these guys, fired up and have them ready to, to go out there and play. And that's all you can ask from a team, is to go out there and have the ability to fight and know that you're in a street fight when you're playing against them, as an opposing team.
And I did my game-by-game schedule prediction for the Eagles. I had them winning a lot of games. When you do the game-by-game, you're like, okay, what games aren't they going to win? And I circled a couple games they aren't going to win that they will win, because I feel like they're just going to out-hustle a team. And it's going to be it's football. You don't have to rely on talent all the time. And I think the best equalizer in the game is just out-physical and out-hustle. And I think Eagles are going to do that to a couple teams this year. A lot of people say that the Giants are really tough. I think the Eagles are going to say, okay, Joe Judge, you think your team is so tough? Well, guess what? We're going to fight back, and we're going to see how you react to it. Because I think that's what the Giants beat the Eagles the second time last year. I just thought they out-toughed them, I guess you can use. And I think it's going to be like that with Washington. And Dallas will probably end up stealing the game from just because of that. And maybe that's why I feel the Eagles are going to end up 8-9, even though, in the back of my head, it's okay, this is probably a 6-win team. But again, this all relies on Jalen Hurts too. If Jalen Hurts plays well and they play tough, they could easily win 10 games, especially in this division, and they have a last place schedule.
All right, here I got one more for you, and then I got a Penn State question for you.
All right.
There's three choices. Starting quarterback for the Eagles in 2022: Deshaun Watson, Sam Howell, or Jalen Hurts.
What's the kid from Liberty's name?
I forget. He played at Auburn. I forget his name. I don't have his name.
I should know it. I should know it too. I really should know that. I got to get all my draft stuff. You know what? I will say Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback in 20.
Wow.
In week one. We'll see who they draft.
Wow. How about that? Malik Willis.
That's it. It was
That's him.
Something. I didn't want to get the name wrong.
Okay. Yeah, he played at Auburn for a year or two before he ended up with Hugh Freeze at Liberty. Barrett, how would you answer that question?
I'm going to go Jalen Hurts also.
What?
And the reason why, I mean, I understand why you guys are saying the North Carolina quarterback. You know,
Deshaun Watson.
I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play.
I don't know if he's ever going to suit up again. I had the Texans go 1-16 because of this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a team right now, man, that, you know, they can't afford to do anything wrong right now, you know, with the whole situation with, you know, I mean, we're talking about a franchise quarterback that, you know, just going to be he's going to be a state of nothingness for the next year and a half until all this court stuff goes on. And they're going to make sure they delay it for a long time, man. You know, and he's going to be sitting there for a long time. He's going to be probably too rusty to even come back, you know, at this point. So I don't know if I can say Deshaun Watson simply because, you know, they're gonna try to make a
He's not going to be rusty. He's going to be massaged every day. We already know that. How can you get rusty when you got a masseuse on you
Harry,
all the time?
you do run out of people.
Right. Well, true. Yeah. All right. Last one. Penn State. They start off the year, I think, at Wisconsin. They have Auburn, maybe week 3. Pretty nice, pretty good opening schedule. Villanova's on the schedule. I mean, what's your outlook for the Knits?
I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. Like last year, I kept trying to just erase that from my mind. But the COVID year, when they lost to Indiana on that fluke play, that should have been overturned, and they didn't get it right in replay. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, this year's a wash anyway. They're going to lose to Ohio State, and I didn't think they'd start out like 0-4 or 0-5, but really love the way they finished last year. They simplified the offense. I love the offense coordinator they brought in. I can never pronounce the guy's name, but he was at Shippensburg.
He was at Ship a long time ago,
yeah,
right?
And Ship's offense was a lot of fun in the PSAC. So I kind of like that. And James Franklin's just bringing in recruit after recruit. I jumped up. I don't do this much, but I know Nick Singleton's father, and I jumped up in the air when, you know, he committed to Penn State yesterday. So I think it's going to be an absolute stud. I got to give some Berks County some love here, but I'll tell you what, I honestly feel like this year's going to be a building block for something really special in 2022. I have a feeling they're going to win 9 games. You know, just look at the schedule. I think they'll be pretty good. Ohio State's still the class of the field. Indiana's going to be good. Wisconsin's going to be good. Michigan's Michigan, honestly. There's always going to be a surprise team in the Big Ten. I feel like they could be it this year, but 2022, 2023 is really when I'm looking at this football team.
Yeah, the Big Ten has gotten a lot better, man.
Yeah, it has. And Nick Singleton, of course, the kid from Governor Mifflin that he referenced. I mean, he had a ton of offers, didn't he?
He had so this is pretty much what I knew, like, and they didn't tell me where he was going to go, but I pretty much kind of knew it was between Penn State and Notre Dame the entire time. And he wanted to commit to Notre Dame, like, literally on the visit. And his mom and his dad said, hey, look, you know, let's go back, let's collect our thoughts. And Penn State was after him from day one. Like, they were telling me about the recruiting visit. It was almost like, you know, like, say you guys are applying for a job and they want you for the job right away. That's pretty much what it was. It's like, we want you. We'll do anything to have you. You know, they put him in a number 10 Penn State jersey. He talked to Dirty Brown. He talked to who else did he talk to? What's the kid's name? Noah Kane. You know, they pretty much just said from basically the Penn State visit was they made him feel like family. And, you know, like, he was part of the team already, and he still got another year in high school. And, you know, I always said if I was a recruit, that's what would ultimately make my decision. Of course, I'm biased. I would have went to Penn State regardless. But, you know, I thought that was a great recruiting job by Franklin to keep a guy in-house. And that's what you got to do to be Ohio State. Pennsylvania and New Jersey are a hotbed of football talent.
Without question. And Maryland, too. All right. You got to follow Jeff Kerr on Twitter at Jeff Kerr CBS. And we'll talk to you down the road, Jeff. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy whatever vacation you have before the season starts here in a couple of weeks.
I'm honestly ready to get back to work. I
Look
actually,
at you.
Me too, bro.
I'm one of those people, like, I actually decided to take an assignment this week on vacation, and it was ranking the teams that never won a Super Bowl and their chances to win the Super Bowl this year. I feel like getting everybody riled up with after Buffalo and Cleveland, how would I rank them? And I got the Cardinals pretty high. Texans are really low. I got the Jaguars higher than most people think. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm doing the top 10 quarterback coach combinations this week, and I can't wait for people to get mad at my Andy Reid love. So
all right, well, you got to check that out, and I'm sure you have the links to your Twitter, to cbssports.com. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there's Jeff Kerr. Look at that. He's working on the vacation, putting together lists, and I noticed in that list of teams that have never won a Super Bowl, ranking them, he didn't even mention the Detroit Lions.
Right.
One of your former teams.
No question, man. And they shouldn't be. Even though they went out and got a quarterback though. So
and your coach, the boy, your boy, Campbell. Yeah.
Dan Campbell. We're gonna go out there and cut their knees.
That's right.
Cut
That's right.
Knees,
All right. Now I don't know if you've made any phone calls here for the last half hour, but if not, we got a story to get into regarding one of your best buddies.
Who's this?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna surprise you with that. When we get back, and we'll allow you to just pontificate more football for the final half hour of the show. You're listening to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel and The Middle with Harry Mays and Barrett Brooks. Back after this.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor, Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on JAKIB.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
All right, we are back. JAKIB Media YouTube channel, Fritz and B and Cooley Studios, Harry Mays and Barrett Brooks. I got to take you to the top, and then we'll have 10-minute overtime. We were going to be joined by D Gunn. We'll get him on maybe next week, or maybe we'll give him 2 weeks just prior to when camp starts. What is the deadline, or what is the countdown? When does camp start, Barrett?
Usually at the end of this month. That's usually when camp does. Let me see when the Eagles report.
Like somewhere around the 25th, 26th.
Right,
usually
right
these
around there.
teams
Yep.
Get together, right?
Around the 22nd to the, like the 20th is usually when all the teams start reporting.
Right. Now, I know the preseason schedule is different. They're only playing 3 games, I believe.
Yep, 3 games
this year in
Yep.
preseason. So, they'll probably get started, I'd imagine, a little bit later. Would week 1 in preseason be the one that's skipped?
Yeah,
and then they play
so.
2, 3, 4 just to sort of take them to the start of the regular season.
Yep. Well, they have to report on the 27th.
Okay, the 27th.
Report on the 27th.
All right, and that's when everybody needs to be in. Like rookies might come in earlier, and then the veterans all have to be there.
Yep.
So the 27th. I haven't even found because I'm so disinterested in preseason football games. But since we're coming off of the year we had last year, I am somewhat interested in it just to see them getting back to playing and practicing. And I don't know, kind of missed that last year. Did you? I mean,
this will be interesting because with them having a new rookie coach, they can come in a week ahead of everybody else.
Okay, is that right? Okay,
yeah. So this will be Hurts's first preseason. His preseason game. His first.
They played the Steelers as the first preseason game,
right?
August the 12th.
Yep. And the way the new rules are, for cutting. They need to make a roster cut to 85 by August 7th, and then down to 80 by August 24th, and then the 53 by August 31st.
Okay, so that's 31st. That's 4 days after their last preseason game, which is always against the Jets.
Yep, always.
So what it looks like to me is they're going to start the preseason right in the same week that they normally do. Then they'll play in week 2. Week 3 is where they skip a game because they've got no, that's not right. It is week 1, I guess, that they're skipped because they're not starting to the 12th. Then they play the 19th, then the 27th. So that essentially is 3 straight weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
So, man, it's tough, man. There are going to be so many guys.
Look who it is. Yeah, the stream was saying, "Hey, where has Parles been? We haven't seen Jeff Parles in quite a while." And we're like, he's probably on vacation. It's the summertime. It's the downtime in sports, except for the NBA Finals. Where you been?
Yeah. First off, I miss you guys. That was number 1.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
So first off, look, the Shander family obviously has had a big moment in the last few weeks. So,
yeah, they have. They have
a little bit of confusion 2 weeks ago, and then last week's totally on me. I didn't check the right email. My regular email, there wasn't a link. I was like, I guess there's no show today because obviously the addition to the Shander family, and check that email today. I'm like, oh, whoops, my bad. But
you know what?
I'm here with you guys today. That's what matters.
We miss the heck out of you, but I tell you, I don't know that anybody misses you more than Joey B.
Well, I got to tell Joey B. I miss you too, buddy. I hope you've taken the last few weeks to really think about your quality of odds making. That's what I hope.
I don't know what the orange hat was today, but it's
the orange hat should probably have been about 4-1, 5-1.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Well, all right. Give me your thoughts on game 1 of the NBA Finals. You saw that line was up around 7, I want to say, before anybody realized that Giannis was actually going to play, and I think it came off closer to 5 by game time. And the Phoenix Suns said, Giannis, you can play. It doesn't matter. We're gonna still kick your ass.
Yeah. So the biggest, I have 3 takeaways from last night. The first one, the one positive thing that happened for Milwaukee last night is Giannis didn't look hurt. Giannis looked pretty normal.
Some pretty slick moves.
Looked pretty normal. So
kind of like Embiid.
Yeah. For Harry Barrett, it just basically for the rest of the series, this is going to be a series. Like Milwaukee's not going to get swept out of here like I thought it was possible if Giannis didn't play, or if he played and was incredibly hampered. Giannis looks normal. He's fine. The biggest thing last night, and this is what was my biggest fear for the Bucks going into the series, in the non-Giannis category. Budenholzer's a terrible in-game adjuster. And last night these big guys kept getting destroyed. in the second half by Chris Paul when it was pick and roll, they'd switch or to drop coverage. Either or got pummeled by Chris Paul in the second half last night. And Budenholzer just doesn't adjust. This is who he is. This is the type of coach that he is, that all of his adjustments are made during practice. He doesn't make in-game adjustments. So he's got to figure out his defense, because if not, Chris Paul is going to have a monster series. He's going to win the MVP with ease, and Phoenix is going to win the series probably in 6. Milwaukee still has too much talent to get drubbed out of this series. But very impressive from the Suns last night. And look, if DeAndre Ayton's going to have 20 rebounds and really not be contested inside, coupled with the Bucks not really having a clue how to guard Chris Paul in the pick and roll, and I haven't even mentioned Booker, who was great last night also. So all signs pointed to Phoenix before the series anyway. But after last night, it's going to be hard. Milwaukee's going to push this 6 or 7. But I just have a hard time seeing Phoenix not winning this series, unless if Budenholzer makes some adjustments, which you can't bank on, because that's what he is.
Yeah, what's the line? What's the line for the next game tomorrow?
What do we have right now? I got to imagine
it's about 10.
No. It closed 5 last night when Giannis was ruled back in. I got to imagine it's 5, 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. That's actually, I bet Milwaukee getting to 5.5. That's what I would do. I think this will be a close game too. I'm not sure if they win, but it's going to be tighter than it was last night. So I take the
Milwaukee's favorite.
No, Phoenix by 5.5.
Phoenix by 5.5. I would imagine when they go back to Milwaukee, it'll be closer to a pick, Barrett. That would be my guess.
Okay.
But look, I think the biggest thing more than anything was Giannis looked good. Giannis looked like himself, and that basically turns what could have been a very short series into a long series. Again, I don't think it changes the result, but at least gives us basketball for another week.
Right. We're trying to stretch this out, Jeff.
Just get us as close to football season as
exactly. That's exactly right.
The least amount of time talking only baseball is good.
I won't do it. I will not do it. I am on a baseball moratorium, I think, until 2030.
2030. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Until they start, changing some rules up, man, and doing things the right way. Hey, man, I told Harry, maybe we need to reintroduce steroids or something, man. Because the steroid era was great for me.
Look, I'll say this: the way that that baseball vilified the steroid guys is just and of course, naturally, in baseball fashion, they put the guy who vilified him in the Hall of Fame, and Barry Bonds, who legitimately is could be the best athlete in North American sports history, is not in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing here? What are we doing here for your baseball? I don't disagree with that, Barrett, and you're not alone. There are a lot of people my age who are in the same camp as you. It's like, you know what? Everyone cheats anyway. Who cares?
Right.
And again, if for PEDs, again, that's risk assessment for whoever.
Right.
If you want to shorten your life for extra fame, so be it. I mean, that's one of those scenarios.
How popular is baseball betting in your world? I know people
in my world.
In your world, is that
world? It's still popular. Again, there are some people that are in your camp, Harry. Let's talk about my guy Gil Alexander here for a second. Where what's the point?
Yeah.
It's random every single day. Like, you could have the greatest value in the world, and I mean, look, let's just take unders example for this year. You could have the deadest of dead unders this year, and because of the stupid ghost runner in extra innings, you can lose because a team gets the runner at second, and all of a sudden an inning that might have been a 3-run inning in the old form, in the regular format, turns into a 6 or 7-run inning, and your dead under is a loser. So look, for me, I just pick my spots with baseball. I have not been picking them well recently, which probably will mean a cutback on my baseball bets until football starts. Oh, look, that's really, if you, and I have to say this, the NFL is the sharpest lines in any sport. The books are best at the NFL because there's the most information on all those teams out there. And the books know that that's the sport everyone's going to bet more than anything, the NFL. But if you want to make sure that you have your bankroll ready and enough money to play the NFL season adequately enough for you, don't force it during these next 6 weeks. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Baseball, if you think you have an edge on baseball, okay, don't stop yourself from betting. But if you have a run in baseball where it's like, you know what, bleep this, I don't really want to do this because it's just hard to predict. I don't have a problem just sitting out the next few weeks. Go like Joey B. Go somewhere nice. Go to Florida. Go to Hawaii. Go to California. Get a pina colada in your hand and just take a few weeks off because you really, again, you have to have the stamina to get through a whole football season. And again, it's normal again. You're gonna have 14-hour days on Saturday. You're gonna have essentially 12-hour days on Sunday now. So get your stamina ready, guys. Be ready for full football season.
Well, how you doing? How are you doing with hockey then?
Hockey, you know what? The playoffs are. I'm very. I don't want to say timid is the right word, Barrett, but I'm a lot more cautious in the playoffs. You just can pick
more in game.
Yeah, you know what? So I first off, actually, I said this with another Philly-based guy yesterday, John Jansen on The Gambler, but I'll bring it to you guys. Yep. I'll bring it to you guys real quick. So I had the Lightning to sweep at plus 610, okay, which is a pretty rough beat in the end. But I'm solely blaming – I'm not blaming the team, whatever. You lose hockey games. But I am not happy with the mayor of Tampa Bay at the moment.
Oh, yeah, for the gauntlet he laid down?
Well, yeah, she, but look.
Or she, yeah.
You cannot tempt fate and essentially say, I hope they lose game 4 so they clinch it home.
Right. So we can clinch it home, have the parade right away. Yeah.
You can't do that.
Can't
do that. And tonight, I think Tampa will win tonight and she'll get her wish. But I really hope Montreal finds a way to win tonight in Tampa, forces a game 6, and then Tampa clinches the series in Montreal in game 6. That's what I'm rooting for.
For spite.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, could you imagine, throughout the is Michael Nutter still the Philly mayor, guys?
No.
Okay, I know he was back in the day. But
no, Mayor Kenny. Kenny is the mayor.
But can you imagine if any mayor throughout the history of time in Philadelphia said what the mayor in Tampa said? I mean, and then especially
burn it down.
Especially if it was for the Flyers and the Flyers are up 3-0 in a cup final on the road, lose game 4, come back home to Wells Fargo, lose game 5, they would be ready to recall the mayor after game 5. I mean, that's just you can't say that.
No, you're absolutely right. But I love this Montreal story this year. They got some really nice players and they got a great goaltender, but they just don't have the firepower. To stick with this Tampa team. No. And, the power play, I think they killed off all 5 in the previous game, including that 4-minute Shea Weber penalty at the end of regulation, which was unbelievable. But you've got to score. You got to be able to score to keep up with this team. Tampa's loaded with offense.
Yeah, look.
And a great goalie.
Yeah, well, that's really the big thing.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky is the best goalie in hockey. Yeah. I don't think there's arguing that anymore. I know. Look, this Tampa team 2 years ago won the President's Trophy, got swept by Columbus. Total choke job, one of the worst ones we've ever seen in the NHL. Come back the next year in a bubble, win the cup. This year, back to a more real feel, regular feel. You're going to get your second cup. But look, Vasilevsky's just so damn good, guys, and that's really the difference, even more so than Tampa having the firepower. We knew Tampa had all that firepower. That's just what they are. But in the end, guys, it just is a scenario where Tampa's just so much better. And Montreal, at some point, when you win 42% of your games in a regular season and you go on a miraculous run like this, your party's going to stop, and it's more than likely going to stop quickly. Yeah. And it was pretty darn close to stopping as quickly as humanly possible in this series.
Now, did you imbibe last night in the match at all? I know there were low limits.
I took a little of Phil and Brady just because DeChambeau, I mean, when your caddy walks out on you, you're not in the greatest of shape.
Right.
And look, I didn't expect Aaron Rodgers to be
unbelievable.
But Aaron Rodgers is really good. Like
he carried him.
Yeah, in the end, Rodgers was the difference. So look, what are you going to do? You chalk it up to an all-time great actually being pretty damn good at something else that we didn't expect. So I will say this. I've never been to Montana. I really had no interest in going to Montana.
I've been there.
But that course is amazing looking.
It is amazing looking. I said it on my podcast, Swing It and Dig It, this morning, which will come out this afternoon. I wouldn't want to play it.
Oh, I think,
I
it'd be fun to play it one time from the regular tees and not the pro. I mean, that 777-yard par five.
Yeah.
That turns into
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That turns into about a six and a quarter for regular folks like us.
Right. I mean, the elevation on the tee, Barrett, and where the green was like, was like this. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
It was 300 feet difference. It was a huge difference.
Incredible. And they could hit it like there's this bunker in the middle of the fairway right before it goes down the hill. And Mickelson hit the top of the bunker, so he didn't get to go down the hill. But if you hit it and can get it down the hill, you probably got a reasonable shot in there.
Like Barrett Rodgers hit his, which was by the 500-yard mark for the pros. So Aaron Rodgers had like a 460-yard drive on that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no lie.
He hit the hill and went straight down it.
Yep. And Brady hit a drive like 390 last night onto a green, a drivable par 4. Brady hit the green, got it to 12 feet from the hole, and so did DeChambeau. He did it with a 3-wood. But Brady hit an unbelievable shot.
No, it just,
yeah.
Look, Bear. I will say this, like, so I've played golf in the Denver area before, and this is so
not
that's
with
like,
Joey B though.
No, not with Joey B.
Okay.
This is between me knowing Joey B's existence.
Okay.
So like obviously you're mile high,
right?
Barrett, that place they played at yesterday was 7,700 feet.
Yeah, above sea level. Yeah,
you're getting a lot of extra carry. Like my golf shot in Denver was going an extra 70 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine it going at least an extra 110, 120.
It's like 10 to 15% more.
Yeah, 10% more.
That's serious, man. It's serious up there. I was in the best shape of my life when I was up there for camp. For the first 2 weeks, I couldn't breathe while I was working out. But after that, and I got used to it, and I started running. I was in shape. Man, we went down to play Tampa Bay for a preseason game. That's the first time I never got tired in a game.
Because you're at sea level there.
But like there's a reason that the U.S. Olympic Committee has their headquarters in Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just if you get in shape and elevation, it doesn't, like you said, like it doesn't matter where you go, especially if you're going to Tampa, which is below sea level. I mean,
exactly.
Right.
You feel like a god after you're.
Bro, I ran and I didn't get tired at all. Man, it was crazy because you actually develop more red blood cells also to carry more oxygen.
Yep.
So I was like, I've never felt this good in my life.
Oh, that's awesome. I think at some point that means I just have to move to Denver if I ever want to get in shape, right? That's
there you go.
There you go.
Hey, any early looks for the Open Championship? I know Scottish Open this week, but next week.
No, nothing yet. Nothing yet, Harry. I know next week I'll have all my plays for next week.
Okay.
We're kind of going back again. It's been 2 years since we've handicapped a tournament like this.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit of a different cap than we had. U.S. Open, at least. I finally got in on Rahm going into the 4th round, so I at least got a nice price on Rahm because it was still plus 950 going into the final round, which was good for U.S. Open. But it'll be interesting to see. I will say this, Harry, the Scottish Open field always throws me for a loop because, of course, it's a Euro Tour event, but it's a legitimate PGA Tour field.
Oh yeah,
obviously you have the John Deere this week where Daniel Berger's really the only good player in that field. But I want to hop in on the Scottish Open, but I think I'm just going to end up passing.
Rahm's the favorite there.
Rahm's like plus 650 to win that tournament. I know Rahm is just at another level right now, but it's hard in the non-Tiger era to lay that short of a price on it or take that short of a price on anyone.
All right, anything new or upcoming before the football season starts again for the Book It app?
Yeah, you know what? It just we'll have constant updates throughout the next few months to keep fine tuning the app. Liv Moods and Robert Turbin doing their show Turbo Mode. That will be going a few more days often once football season gets around because of course Robert Turbin, former Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks, football.
That's right.
Is his expertise, but
running back, right? Running back.
Yep, one of those many running backs they use behind Marshawn. there on that team. So, but yeah, no, look, things going well at Book It HQ. A lot of the team currently in Phoenix right now. I'm not sure if they actually ended up in the arena last night for game one. I know Trent was threatening to go to game one, but we'll see if they actually went in there. I haven't checked their socials yet. So, but yeah, no, all is good over here at Book It HQ.
Beautiful. All right, buddy. We appreciate you checking in. We'll tell Eytan that you and he are still on good terms. He will be back on the show tomorrow.
Oh, come on, he look. Eytan and I are never on bad terms. It's just a matter of how angry at Twitter is Eytan on that day. That's all that matters.
You have no idea what we go through with that. No idea.
Yeah, the text chain between Barrett, Eytan, and me, is very interesting.
Oh,
It's all from his end.
Well, he's the most interesting character of the three of you guys. So,
no doubt about that.
That's for sure. But Jen, it's a pleasure as always. And Joey B, I'm going to tell you, you got the NFL season starts in 2 months. I expect you to be the sharpest person there is on these hat lines by the time the NFL season.
There we go.
All right, Jeff. Thanks so much. There he is,
bro.
at Jeff Parles, and of course the Book It app. Download. They got a lot of new things coming between now and the start of the NFL season. So get in now. It's a fun place to interact. Break balls and win some stuff. And John Shelton on the stream was just beating up on Parles.
Oh,
man.
he was on him, bro.
Hashtag fade Parles. Stick to golf, Parles. Wow, killing this guy.
No, they were all because they didn't think he was going to be on today, so they didn't make their odds. They didn't put their odds up. He didn't give them an opportunity.
Right.
You got to give them an opportunity to put their odds up now.
All right, now I know I sent or Xander's been actually trying to get some audio video that we can play from the match last night, whether it's the Brady Rodgers catch or if it's Charles Barkley. I don't know which he has, but if he does have it, maybe we could squeeze it in now before the end of the regulation part of the show, because then in overtime, here we go. Oh, here's the catch, Barrett. Now this is Rodgers throwing the ball to Brady and back. Brady's in the white golf shirt, Rodgers in the black golf shirt. Here we go with some audio.
Right corner.
Oh my goodness.
I like it a little more. I try to be a little more balanced now.
You were doing like straight bounce
this year.
I was like, you don't like the left foot forward anymore, huh?
I used to.
Just a couple of guys having a
right corner.
Look at the zip on that ball, and they're just tossing it, Barrett.
Bro, that's unbelievable, man.
I mean, they're like,
doing great.
Like 15 yards apart. It's just zip.
You don't like the left foot forward anymore, huh?
I used to.
So he's talking to him about the stance. You don't like the left foot forward anymore.
Just
he noticed that.
Well, you watch greatness, man. That's what you do. You try to figure out. Like I used to watch film on Eric Williams and try to pick up little things
with Dallas, right?
Yeah, Eric Williams. He had this move, right, and I incorporated it in my game that I'd set back and I'd punch a guy, let him get into me, and then headbutt him, bam, bam. And he's the dupe. I watched him do it to Mamula one time. And that's where I got it from. I watched him do it to Mamula, and it made Mula drop like a bag of potatoes.
I mean,
he just dropped straight down. He was like, bam, 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 and he just dropped, man. He just fell over. Boom! I was like, wow, let me try that. So I mean, I tried to do it. I was doing it to Chidi Yohana too.
Oh yeah,
from he played for Tampa Bay. So I incorporated it into my game, man. But you go and you watch games, man. I watch games on Jackie Slater and Anthony Munoz.
Yeah.
I mean, all the greats, and that's where you try to develop your game. Try to pick little bits and pieces of their game, to try to get better, man. And sometimes it works, sometimes you just can't do what they do, bro.
Right.
I mean, they're just
special.
Yeah, you got to be a special player to be able to do it.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable, man. What I've seen, some guys can do, some guys can't do.
All right, now I'm looking here on the stream. Penguin AZ asking if Eytan's doing a quick appearance at least. I don't think so today.
No,
he's got things to do, and he'll be back tomorrow. So no appearance from Eytan today. But we got overtime coming up, and I got a special. This is gonna be breaking news, I think, for you, Barrett, with one of your best buddies in the business.
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I scour the internet looking for
see.
stuff.
Researching.
Exactly right. We'll take a quick time out, and we'll be back with more in Overtime with Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays right here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
All right, welcome back to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Harry Mays, Barrett Brooks, and we are in overtime. Eytan will be back tomorrow. A lot of fun with our guests today, though. Jeff Kerr, Jeff Parles making an appearance, hadn't been on in a while, and of course RJ Choppy. And got to follow all those guys on social media. But I found a story this morning, Barrett. And oh, by the way, while you're at it, give us a like and subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. The subscription level is increasing rapidly. We're now up over 5,500 now.
There we go.
On our way to 6,000. I'm looking at trying to get to 6,000 here before preseason starts, because this thing is going to explode once the regular season starts.
Well, it's going to be big. You better get in now, because we're about to make it happen. Once football season turns around, woo.
Yeah, you don't want to be an early adapter. You know,
Right,
you get in on things, you get in on it early, and then you could start spreading the word. Well, speaking of the word, I saw this today. Are you aware that there's a New Jersey Hall of Fame? Now, you're a resident of New Jersey.
Yep.
You knew that there was a Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay, there is.
Okay. What kind of Hall of Fame?
Well, it's just like a Hall of Fame for greatness in all types of, vocations. Not just athletics. So you can be an entertainer, a great educator, a business person, you name it, all different kinds of avenues to the Hall of Fame. But one of your best buddies and one of your mentors is being inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame.
Who is this?
Ron Jaworski.
Get out of here, man.
Yes, I'm looking here on Philly Voice. Patty Smith, Ron Jaworski among 2021 NJ Hall of Fame inductees. Wow. So you're going to have to send Jaws a text saying congratulations on your Hall of Fame status. I wonder if he gets a jacket. Like, do they give you like not a gold jacket because that's Canton, but I wonder if there's some sort of maybe the state color of New Jersey, whatever that might be. Maybe with a patch of the crest,
right,
or the flag or whatever, the state flag on the breast pocket, and they give him a jacket.
Maybe your tax return. That's what it is.
Oh,
more you paying taxes here.
Is that what you think it is? All his golf courses and all that tax money that the state is getting.
I was talking about taxes the other day, man, here in Jersey. It's ridiculous, man. It make you want to just get up and leave, man. But, Hall of Fame, he's definitely paying enough in taxes. They got to give him some type of refund.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great, man. Congratulations to him, man.
Yeah, Jaworski, it says here, of course, played 10 years for the Eagles from 77 to 86. His decade with the Birds was highlighted by his Pro Bowl selection and the team's first ever Super Bowl appearance in 1980. Jaworski currently lives in Voorhees, Camden County, went on to have a successful broadcasting career with ESPN and co-ownership of the Philadelphia Soul Arena football team. So nice little write-up for Jaws. Now, he went in, or is going in with Patti Smith. Do you know who Patti Smith is?
No. Who's Patti Smith?
Patti Smith was a punk rock icon back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. She had the Patti Smith group. And
not Pat Benatar.
No, not Pat Benatar. This was earlier than this preceded Pat Benatar. Okay. Patti Smith's biggest hit was called Because the Night. And it was actually a song, I believe, that was written by another New Jersey icon, Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
Who I would think would have to already be in the Hall of Fame, or it's really not a Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
If you're going to have a New Jersey Hall of Fame, with all due respect to Jaws, and the boss isn't in it yet, is it really a Hall of Fame?
Right. Yeah, she's kind of unique looking too.
That's a very, very nice way to describe it, Barrett. And it's funny that you say that. She's very unattractive. Let's just be honest. Okay. To each his own. I get it, but she's very unattractive. And my first experience with Patti Smith, aside from hearing the song, which I actually liked that song, it's a cover version of Bruce's song, but the rest of her music sucked out loud. Okay. And she had an album called Horses that I think was very wildly acclaimed by all these critics, that couldn't wait to, say how great it was. It was terrible. Right. But there was another album that I remember seeing as a young kid going to the record stores back in the late 70s, flipping through the albums, and I see this Patti Smith. Okay, yeah, Because the Night. Which record's that on? I'd look. Oh, it's not on this one, but look at this picture. The album was called Easter. Patti Smith group Easter. You can look this up. And she's on the cover, and you can see her armpit hair sticking out. I swear to God. Black and white photo, I think it was. It scarred me for many years. Go look it up.
I'm looking it up now.
Patti Smith, Patti Smith, Easter. And the album photo will come up. And I want to get your reaction when you see this. You see it?
She's kind of like.
Yeah. Oh, she's showing it off. Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on. Stop. Now, I don't know. I mean, do you think she put any secret on that morning before, the little?
She's one of those type, man. She doesn't wear deodorant.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you're not going to shave it, you're definitely not putting deodorant on it, because then the deodorant would probably cake up with the hair. It would look really it would look really bad.
Oh my goodness! You can only imagine.
Terrible. So that was my first sort of memory of Patti Smith after I heard her song. Like, oh my God, that's her.
Oh man, you just made my day, man. I can go through my day now, man. I got to talk football, and you talking about Patti Smith. Man.
Well, you learned something on this show. You might not want to learn it after you learn it, but you're like, man, I wish I didn't know that. But
that's crazy, man. That is crazy.
Yeah. And Tone on the stream says, "Hey, Harry Barrett, I rode with y'all during the Maze and Eytan days, and am I an early adapter? You're a adopter? Yes, you are, Tone. You're exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, man, you just made my day, man. Because I didn't want to just say, I didn't want to say just ugly.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say ugly.
Saying,
I didn't use that word.
Unique.
I said you just said unique, and I said unattractive.
Right.
But that's my own opinion. But Play Action Reel says the Hall of Fame jacket has to have the exit number that you're from in New Jersey. Right. That's pretty good.
I'm exit 4. Yes.
Are you 4?
Yeah, I'm exit 4, man.
Well, then Jaws would probably be the same exit.
No, Jaws. You know what? Yeah, no. Jaws would probably be.
It says he's from Voorhees, isn't that? Yeah. That's near you, right?
I don't think he lives in Voorhees, though.
Oh no,
I don't know. Maybe he's got different things everywhere, bro.
He's all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him a text, man.
Yeah, I wonder if he's in the Youngstown State Hall.
There's no question about that. There's no question.
Yeah, he'd have to be, right?
Yeah, he does. He is the guy. In fact, he's still the best, probably the best player ever leave there. So I wonder who would be the best player to ever leave. It had to be Jaws, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you say?
I would think so. I mean, they had that coach that ended up going to Ohio State. He won a bunch of championships, I think, at Youngstown. What was his name? He wore the sweater vest. He eventually got run out of there in controversy. What the heck was his name? Why can't I think of that? The stream will get it. The Ohio State coach. But anyway, like as far as an athlete, I can't think of any. I'm sure they have had other players in the NFL, but none. Jim Tressel, says John Shelton.
Tressel,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's the guy.
Tressel,
Jim Tressel. He was pretty famous. Are you in the Kansas State Hall of Fame? The stream.
I'm not even in the ring.
You're not?
No.
There's not a ring. There's a Ring of Honor, and you're not in it.
No, I'm not in it.
That's a disgrace.
Well, it's not a disgrace because I don't give money.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
so it's not about what you've done in the league or done after you graduate. It's about donating.
Yeah, I've done more than most people on the field.
Wow.
But, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a couple of us who won Super Bowls there, but I mean, you know, we kind of started the trend of NFL players coming from Kansas State. You know, we were one of the I'm not one of the first, but I'm first in the new era of guys. You know, because they had guys like what was that old quarterback from New England? Steve Grogan.
Steve Grogan.
Yeah. Steve Grogan was a guy from Kansas State.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
yeah, he was pretty good back in the day.
Yeah, he was really good back then. He went to his first Super Bowl.
Yeah, in '85 with Tony Eason was on that team too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Now MS69 says I go back to the 700 level sports guys on 97.5. I am an OOG. That is
no question about that.
That is really good. That's back in like 2006.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff out of
700
him.
level.
Good work out of everybody on the stream today. Had a whole lot of fun. And don't forget, give us a like. Tells people to subscribe. We're growing this thing from the ground up, and we can't do it without you. Thanks, Barrett. Great stuff today. Thanks to Xander and all our guests. And we'll be back with you tomorrow, along with Eytan Shander at 11 o'clock.